pains me to say this, but Killing Floor 3 should be delayed. While there's still fun to be had in Killing Floor 3 because the core gameplay loop of just mowing down waves of enemies will always be a good time, regardless of the game you're playing. And if that's all you're really looking for, then this game might scratch that itch. But if you've played Killing Floor 2 or any number of Horde-style shooters over the last decade, then this game is likely to disappoint in its current state. I understand that this is a beta, and if the game was still a ways out from dropping, I would agree with that statement. But at the time of this video, Killing Floor 3 is due to release in just a few short weeks. Unless this is an extremely old build of the game, this beta is what the final product will be, just with more maps and content. There just isn't enough time to fix the many issues that Killing Floor 3 has based on this beta. And while there are some things that I do like about the game, the fact remains that this is a huge disappointment for fans of Killing Floor 2. As always, if you're new to the channel, thanks for checking out the video, I do really appreciate it. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. This is going to be a quick review today. We have a lot to discuss, and I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time, so let's just jump right into it. Before I talk about the many issues with Killing Floor 3, I do want to discuss what the game series is and what I like about it. The Killing Floor series is so extremely simple. You select a character and spawn into a map and need to survive multiple waves against Zeds, which are like cyborg mutant zombies. At the end of each match, you go up against a randomly selected boss, level up, select new upgrades for your class. It's a simple but very addictive gameplay loop that has kept Killing Floor 2 popular for many, many years. Killing Floor 2 has been supported for like a decade at this point and has dozens and dozens of maps, which for me is my favorite thing about the series. And while Killing Floor 2 is very goofy at times, it doesn't take itself too seriously, it is still a very dark and gritty and horror-focused atmosphere that a lot of players, like myself, really love so much about the series. It's just a lot of fun to play, and it's kept a lot of us very busy for many, many years at this point. It's such a simple concept, and somehow Killing Floor 3 fucked it up. But they did make some positive changes as well. Classes are now much deeper, with more skills and passive abilities. And while it's disappointing that the classes are now tied directly to specific characters, with terrible designs if I'm being honest, I do really enjoy the added depth that these classes bring. Each class has around 30 skills in total now, and they can be upgraded multiple times. Each character comes with those skills as well as a unique gadget and ultimate ability, which can be customized for specific playstyles. Weapons can also be customized with different attachments, ammo types, components. These features bring the game into modern times and bring some much needed depth to the gameplay. This is all well and good, but that's kind of where the positives end for me if I'm being honest.
System analysis shows that the laboratory's analyzer is offline due to the recent hurricane, no doubt.
Performance on the PS5 was honestly atrocious at times, and in a game where you're surrounded by hundreds of enemies, well, that performance is even more important than ever. The frame rate was never stable during the entire beta period, and when things got really crazy in the later waves, it made it almost unplayable for me. It just becomes a blurry mess, which really sucks because the performance really does impact the overall second-to-second gameplay in a game like this. It makes you miss shots, it makes the enemies look weird, it really does ruin the fun factor and the enjoyment. And a game like this, again, really does need to have rock-solid performance to get the most out of the second-to-second gameplay. Animations feel unfinished. The Zeds themselves are a highlight of the series. I love their crazy designs, but in Killing Floor 3, they lack the animations that gave them their personality in the previous game. They barely react to getting shot sometimes, and when you mix that with the poor performance, the combat suffers greatly. Weapons lack the punch you would expect. I love using shotguns in these types of games, and in Killing Floor 3, it feels like I'm firing a Nerf gun. It just doesn't make any sense. That lack of feedback from damaging enemies and the lack of oomph from the weapons really does suck, and it's very noticeable. The visuals have obviously improved from Killing Floor 2 since that game is pretty old at this point, but I still think the previous game has a better art direction. There are seriously like 50 maps in Killing Floor 2, which is pretty insane, and the locations are all unique. I love the maps in that game, but I can't say the same for the beta maps here. There are 3 maps in the beta, and for me personally, I didn't really care for any of them. They all felt very similar in their visual design, and the layouts just felt bland and boring. And if I'm not mistaken, the game is only going to launch with 6 maps, which for me is the biggest slap in the face. If I didn't like 3 of the maps that you chose to represent your game for a beta, well, that doesn't bode well for the rest of the maps in the full product. At least the soundtrack is still awesome, which is filled with tons of thrash metal, death metal, and heavy electronic music. If you like the music from, let's say, the Doom games, well, you'll feel right at home here. The music fits perfectly when you're knee-deep in dead Zeds. It's just a shame that the current state of the game isn't as good as the music. Listen, I have no doubts that down the line, Killing Floor 3 will be an awesome game, but first impressions are everything, and I think if the game launches in its current state, that it's going to get chewed up by the community like it already is. I know the game isn't going to be delayed, but I feel that would be the best thing for Killing Floor 3 if it wants to succeed like its predecessor. I'm pretty disappointed. This should have been such an easy W for Tripwire Games, but here we are. Maybe I'm wrong and the full game will deliver, but I think we're in for a very rough launch. But yeah, guys, that's my quick thoughts on the beta. Played it over the weekend, couple days, sunk maybe 6, 7, 8 hours into it. I probably would have sunk a lot more if I was having more fun. And, you know, I was able to have fun at times, especially when that music kicks in and you're surrounded by enemies. It could be a very fun time. It could still be very intense. The movement is a lot faster paced. The deeper classes, there are things to like about the game. It's just a big downgrade in a lot of other ways, and considering that Killing Floor 2 has been supported for so many years, you think they would know what the community wants, you know, with a sequel after so many years. But if the video was helpful for you guys, please leave a like and a sub. It really does help me out. And I'm probably still going to be picking up the full game so I can get to you guys an in-depth review, so I can let you guys know if it's worth your money to save your money, or maybe it ends up being better than what the beta represented. Who knows? But that's the video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a like and a sub. To the next one, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.